What is up, guys? What is up? So today, crazy news. Pam Bondi testified in front of Congress. This is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I cannot wait to show you guys the clips. So, as you know, I've been covering the Epstein files over and over again. My last 5 videos have documented it pretty well, covering the emails, covering the story, covering everybody involved. But this is on a whole new level. So let's get into it, shall we? Boom. All right, so before we start, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell on my YouTube, Townsley R, and also follow me on X at RyanTownslay. So here we are, guys. I'm going to start with the Massey clip here. You know, Thomas Massey has been working with Ro Khanna on getting the Epstein bill to pass, the bill that releases the Epstein files, the files that the DOJ and the FBI didn't want people to see. And let's just see what Massey had to say.
Is recognized.
May I respond very briefly to her statement?
Well, I think we can do that probably on one of our members' time.
Okay, thank you. I don't want that to get away. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victims' lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm gonna unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now your your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files. But he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking.
And that is very important. It is a very important distinction. Just because Les Wexner is mentioned in the files thousands of times doesn't implicate anything. But if the FBI has him as a co-conspirator, and that is the information that they redacted, they're obviously hiding the fact that there's other people involved in the sex trafficking. It's so point blank obvious. It's right in your face. And Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Dan Bongino have said over and over again, there's no co-conspirators. They've lied. And Kash Patel lied in front of Congress, which is a crime. Look, I voted for Trump. I get it. But listen, guys, you can't defend this. This is indefensible.
Not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need, that you're holding on to and over-redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled.
That is a crime. Because Congress passed a law saying that you have to unredact all this stuff. And Congress is allowed to see them in a closed door setting. And it's still redacted. That is going against the law.
Down from the website that we will never see because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
No, Pam Bondi. We're not talking about covering up his name. We're talking about covering up the fact that he was a co-conspirator. What a joke this attorney general is. My God.
Reclaiming my time. Mr. Chairman.
This isn't how this works.
Can I have my time back? Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from Kentucky.
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So
Yes.
I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman, may I give my answer on that?
Here's
It's a political
the question.
joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next
Chairman,
question.
it's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's...
Now, to be fair, like, Massey should let Pam Bondi talk. He's talking over her. That's how these hearings go, a lot of talking over. But I understand the passion. I mean, everybody's kind of frustrated with this lady.
name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
4,700,
Okay.
and we invited you
Show the
in.
video.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician.
Gentlemen,
You need to
time
get
is
on
up.
I want you to
things
watch
that
the
matter.
video.
Chairman.
Okay, he's about to play the video of Kash Patel lying under oath. Listen to this.
Please restore his time and remind the witness of the
himself.
rules here.
There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Is that your position?
That's a lie. That's clearly a lie. I don't know how else you spin it. Let's do it preschool style. Kash Patel says he didn't sex traffic to anybody. There's no co-conspirators. It takes Congress to force the DOJ and the FBI to release the files. They redact a co-conspirator. Thomas Massey calls it out. They unredact it because it's the law. It's the law. They have to. This is such a joke.
As well.
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I am reclaiming my time.
I hate this answer. Merrick Garland isn't in charge, you idiot. You are, Pam Bondi. You're in charge. You're in charge right now. So you're just going to say, well, Merrick Garland did this. No, you can't just do that. That'd be like if I played a basketball game and it was like the end of the game and I needed to make a free throw to win the game. And I shot the free throw and missed. My team loses. And then I say, well, the other team missed free throws too. No, you lost the game. You lost the game. God.
I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger
when
than
you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
This
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to know at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has
Which,
expired.
may she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2.
How does that make him a hypocrite? You're just gonna change the subject on a different issue? Oh, well, he voted against banning deep fake porn, so he's wrong. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about, you idiot. What a deflection.
2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired.
She didn't answer the question.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering.
The gentlelady's allowed, the Attorney General's allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
All right, I have unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
All right, this is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted, even when you go to look at them.
Without objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times that the DOJ released nude photos and identifiable pictures of the victims. I'm submitting a letter from AG Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because they're still redacting files that you...
Chairman, are we going to recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of 17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein files.
Without objection.
Wow. 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 That is so crazy. That is so insane, guys. Here's another one. This was like one of the craziest testimonies I've ever seen in my life.
New York recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, I went over to the department yesterday for a couple of hours to review some of the unredacted materials. And I am looking forward to your detailed explanation for why you have withheld almost half of the documents, which is required by the bill. Now, obviously, there are 3 million documents, so I didn't get through much. But one thing I didn't see was the client list that you said you had on your desk a year ago. I did, however, find a couple of important documents. An 86-page prosecution memo from the Southern District of New York and a draft indictment from Florida against Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators. For reasons that I cannot understand nor are permitted by the bill, they were still redacted, even for members of Congress. So, Ms. Bondi, will you commit right here to immediately providing those 2 documents in unredacted form to members of Congress? Not a complicated question.
Well, I guess it is for you because you have a law degree and those are privileged.
Okay, they're not
Privileged? There's a law that says you have to be transparent, you idiot.
privileged, but we will discuss that later. I also found an email that I have right here from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell that was unredacted, and it included notes of statements that Donald Trump made about his prior relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, there is no reason for this to be hidden from the American people. There is no privilege, there is no attorney-client privilege, and I see you're checking with your staff, and I can assure you, staff, this is not under attorney-client privilege because it was sent from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. Will you commit to publicly providing the unredacted version of this so that the American people can understand the extent of Donald Trump's lies about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
You're about as good of a lawyer today as you were when you tried to impeach President Trump in 2016. Have you apologized for that in 2019?
I hate Pam Bondi. She's deflecting. I hate that. What about that? What about this? No, let's talk about now, you stupid bitch.
Will you unredact this? Will you
were
unredact
lead
this?
counsel on that. Privileged.
I'm asking you, will you unredact this?
Privileged.
Privileged, of course. I look forward to discussing this more. Now, these are obviously improper redactions.
And let me stop for a minute.
I'm talking. I look forward to discussing this more. Now, these are obviously improper redactions.
And let me
to
stop for a
protect-
minute.
I'm
No.
talking. I'm
If they're
talking.
not privileged,
Quiet.
don't yell at me. If they're not
Mr. Chairman, would you
privileged,
stop the
Even though
clock?
you
This is
use-
on your time. It's not on Mr.
If they're
Goldman.
not
Even though you
privileged,
used your
if we review
improper
them and they're not-
redactions
you'll like my answer.
to
If we
continue
review
to
them and they're not
protect
privileged,
Donald
Time belongs to
we
the
will
member.
be happy to release them.
We'll
after
stop the
review.
clock. We'll stop the clock. Time belongs to the member. Go ahead.
Even though you used improper redactions to protect Donald Trump and other predators associated with Jeffrey Epstein, you did the exact opposite thing with the survivors and victims of this scheme. So their identification information was really the only thing required to be redacted, and it was not. And it's clear this was not a mistake. This was not by accident. This was not because you only had 30 days when you really used 75, and that doesn't even include all the hours last March that you were redacting it. But I'll tell you why it's clear it wasn't a mistake. There is an email entitled Epstein Victim List. There are 32 names. One is redacted, 31 are not. So someone looked at it and decided to redact something. And I will tell you that that is clearly intentional to intimidate these survivors and victims. Now, in an interview last week,
How will you tell me that's intentional?
in an interview last week, Deputy Attorney General Todd
You
Blanche
can't go off script.
said that any victim that wants to speak with the department has done so, hopefully. Well, thanks to the incredibly brave people sitting here behind you, we can actually ask them if that's true. Now, would the survivors and victims who are here please stand up one more time? Just by show of hands, how many of you or your loved ones actually have met with the Department of Justice and provided testimony and estimate and evidence? None. And of those of you who have not met, which is everyone, how many of you have reached out either individually or through a lawyer or representative to offer to provide testimony and evidence? All of them. And of those of you, all of you who have reached out, how many of you were denied or ignored by the Department of Justice? All of them. And despite the shameful and despicable efforts by Ms. Bondi and her department to intimidate you, how many of you are still willing to speak to the Department of Justice? All of them. Well, Ms. Bondi, it looks like you have some more witnesses to talk to.
Gentleman's time has expired.
And I yield back.
We will go to the good gentleman from North Carolina, Congressman Knott.
Thank
May
you.
I have a moment, Congressman?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Here we go. Here's the photograph. This is why he wanted to repeat everything that had been said previously on Epstein. This is his state, New York. You probably don't even know who this is. Wahid.
She's gonna deflect and talk about criminals in New York because she wants to get a gotcha against the guy who just grilled her. How pathetic. You have a room full of victims who want to talk to the DOJ and the FBI, and the DOJ and the FBI refuse to hear their story, refuse to talk to them. What a disgrace. How disgusting is Pam Bondi? She's sick. She's evil. I don't know how else you could spin it. And she's going to deflect again. That's all she does. This whole testimony, she just deflects and deflects and deflects. They ask her a reasonable question. And then she goes, but you did this or they did that. I hate that answer. How childish.
Mohammed from Afghanistan.
Yes, because I'm no longer a prosecutor.
Convicted of assault. Wow, he represents New York. Wow, yet he doesn't care about the illegal aliens convicted of crimes.
We're not talking about illegal aliens, you idiot.
Assault and homicide. No longer a prosecutor, so he doesn't care about his constituents. Here we go. Arson, El Salvador, Miguel Palacios. Fermin Flores Ramales, Mexico, rape.
Let's talk about the 70% of immigrants who are detained without.
I can't stand her. I absolutely hate her. So she's going to care more about when an illegal alien comes over and rapes someone, but she doesn't care about the Epstein files. It's like, what a joke. What a joke. Here's another one. These just keep going.
To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice.
How do you defend that? Anybody defending Kash Patel, anybody defending Pam Bondi, anybody defending Trump, how the hell do you defend that? It's a disgrace to our country. I don't care if the past administrations didn't release the files, if Biden didn't release it. I don't give a shit if Biden didn't do anything on this. We're living in the moment. If Pam Bondi wants to build a time machine and hold Joe Biden accountable for not releasing the files, go ahead, Pam Bondi, build your little time machine. But we're talking about today. Today.
Please note for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Congresswoman, you sat before, Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General Bondi,
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question.
Attorney General,
that I
Pam Bondi won't answer the question, guys.
would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't she ask Merrick Garland this?
I'm
Twice,
reclaiming
when
my
he sat in my
time, and
chair.
when I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady's
I'm
reclaimed her
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you. You're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll
this.
direct it to
What a
you.
massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a
Mr.
question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is
I'm not going to
interrupting.
get in the gutter with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time
doing theatrics.
and let me have my time.
The gentlelady from Washington controls the time. The gentlelady has 17 seconds. You can proceed with your final
Thank you.
17 seconds.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it would benefit him. Then you got into office, Attorney General, claimed to have a client list, only to then say that there was no list. Your deputy, Todd Blanche, met alone with Ghislaine Maxwell and transferred her to a minimum security prison. And now you continue the cover-up, and I wish that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level,
Chairman,
Chair now recognizes the chair.
and what you have done.
Time is.
Pam Bondi won't apologize and said she wants to go, well, you guys didn't investigate it under Biden. Merrick Garland. I can't stand her, man. Oh, there's so many of these. I don't know if I can cover all of them. I'm trying to find another crazy one here. Let's see. Oh, this one's also insane.
The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before.
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Never
I agree with
mentioned
you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, it's so bad. Here's another one. These just keep going. I'm going to do a couple more of these. These just keep going.
Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most...
If there's no evidence, which I'm not accusing him of, but if there's no evidence, then why didn't you release everything day one? Why all these redactions? Why all this tug and pull? Why? If he's so innocent. Just answer that question for me.
Most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm reclaiming my time.
be
I got your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman, please
Trump
stop the clock.
to
Stop
sign
the clock.
the legislation. This is
Time.
this
I'd like
is
to reclaim
ridiculous.
my time.
Time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was gonna stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness.
Imagine if Biden was president and there was a file by the FBI that had Biden implicated in this. Oh, Republicans would be all over it. But because it's Trump, I don't know, they're just super protective.
You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
Wow. Wow, guys. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable, guys. There was one more I wanted to show you. Oh, here's another. Oh, well, these are so long. I encourage you guys just to watch all of them, because there's just so many that I can't even fit it in a video, or else it'd be an hour long. It'd be a long ass video. I'm trying to find the video where she talks about the Dow Jones. Let's see, where did I have that?
Oh, is Julie. I just want to be clear. Do you want to go?
You to do so.
I don't know where I have it. Is this it?
In the Epstein files.
May I respond to that?
Sure.
Okay. So, if any man's name was redacted that should not have been, we will, of course, unredact it. If a victim's name was unredacted, please bring it to us and we will redact it. We were given 30 days to review and redact and unredact millions of pages of documents. Our error rate is very low, but there are all...
That's a lie. She didn't have 30 days. She had over a year. because they promised. Remember this? Do you guys remember this? Do you remember this? This was early in 2025. Early 2025. They brought all these right-wing influencers up to hold up these binders. Do you want to know what was in those binders? Nothing. There was nothing in those binders. Nothing. No new information at all. The whole thing's a joke, guys. The whole thing is a joke. Pam Bondi should be fired. But that's all I got for you guys today. I think today was an insane day for Bondi. I can't find the video, but there's another video where she goes off and she's talking about, oh, the Dow Jones is up. Trump has made our world safe. Like, we should be talking about that instead of this. No, you're at an Epstein hearing. So now if Donald Trump covers child sex rape, it's okay because the Dow Jones is up? Sickening, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell on my YouTube, Townsley R. And follow me on X, @Ryan Townsley. And this is Townsley R. signing out. Bye-bye.